Good evening and welcome to our live crafting this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's 7 p.m. UK time on the 8th of June 2023, and this week we have been featuring a stamp set that's been around just a couple of years, and it's called Pansy Patch. It's this one here, and it's our nominated stamp set of the week. And basically all that means is I feature 4 different live projects using the Pansy Patch stamp set and or any coordinating products, and in this case there are coordinating dies that go with the stamp set, and they're called, not surprisingly, Pansy dies. That's those there, and you saw me use those quite extensively yesterday. Today I'm going to make a fence card or a gate card. It can be also a gate, so not a gate fold but a gate card. And I'm going to show you my sort of cheats method of making it, because I don't do complicated. There's plenty of very, very talented card makers out there that can do all sorts of really clever folds and designs. But if you've been following me for a little while, you know that I am a simple girl. Hi Carol, and good evening to you. So Pansy Patch, the stamp set, is £24. And it has the matching dies, which are £30, and they are available in our annual catalogue. And if you purchase the stamp set of the week through me during the week that it is the stamp set, then I send you all of the components to make the cards as I've created on my live videos. So we started with just a simple card on Monday, which was this one here. And this is another variation of the same thing. This is one I created at Coffee and Card. So it's got a little bit more detail behind, and it's got 3 pansies and some of the leaves. And the sentiment, thinking of you, comes from Go To Greetings. Had to think about that. The happy birthday from here is one that comes in the stamp set itself. Then we created this one on Wednesday, and this was stamping but then using the dies to cut out the 2 pansy shapes and also the leaves. I've also done the stenciling around the edge. It's not as obvious on this one, you can just about see it, but it's more obvious here where I've done it in a darker colour. That is in Orchid Oasis. And then I used the die cuts here from the Wanted to Say dies. Those are easily overlooked because they're not featured as a main die set in the catalogue. You'll see them in some of the photos and it points you to where they are in the catalogue. But it has a happy birthday, it has a celebrate, it's got a feel better soon, and also you're too kind. So that was the one we did on Tuesday. That's it. And then yesterday, Wednesday, we created this one. So this is just using the dies and stamped some leaves in the background. So this was a collaborative card, as I started off just with a blank card, and I knew I wanted to do a pot. And I've just cut this out of a piece of copper clay card, and I used the coordinating copper clay designer paper on the top, and I literally just cut a rectangle and then just cut a little bit off. I did measure this on both sides so it was equal, and then die cut the pansies, and these I've used some blending brushes in the centres to give the colour in the middle. So today I'm going to do a fence card, and I'm going to do it in portrait, And I've already prepared a whole bunch of pansies as you can see. So I just stamped some, and I'm just going to have the fence, and I'm going to have my pansies climbing up the fence. So, and I thought I'd save some time by doing die cutting those in preparation. So this is half an A4 card, and I've cut this down the centre line at 10.5 centimetres, and I'm going to score this at 14.85. This is our thick white card. Now you could easily do this complete card in crumb cake or pebbled path or any colour card really that you would make a gate or gate post or a fence post out of. So let's fold that over. So this is going to be my card here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut strips off here and then reattach them with posts on either side. And you know me, I go for the simple variation, so I'm not going to measure anything per se. All I'm going to do is trim off strips of white card at 1.5 centimetres, and I'm going to do 6 altogether. Let me just check and see. Yeah, we're live, that's good. So I'm just going to position this at 1.5, so I'm just using the 1.5 centimetre mark here on the right hand side. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are my steps. Hi Jeanette. And then I'm going to have 2 for the side pieces. So these will be our gate posts or fence posts. So basically what I have now is a card with a section cut off. There are 6 strips that are 1.5 centimetres, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reattach these and then have my cross pieces to create my fence. So I hope that makes sense. Now I've got a few hints and tips on the way. I hope you've had a good day, Jeanette. The weather's been lovely here. That's all I need in terms of scoring and cutting. What I am going to do is use 2 that will be my side posts here and here, and I'm just going to put them together and then just cut across the top just with my scissors to create a little, almost like a picket fence, I suppose. So the top. Now you only want to take a little bit off because you still want to be able to reach this top piece. Oh, excellent, Jeanette, that's what we like to hear. Okay, now before I attach those, I'm going to do a couple of things. One is I'm going to stamp some foliage up here and also here behind my fence, and I'm going to use Botanical Layers foliage, which has got lots of different ones, and I particularly like this one here. And I've got a sneaky tip for you today to make your foliage look more realistic, if you like. And I'll stamp this, and hopefully you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to stamp this and stamp it off on here. Now I know it's patchy because this is just on grid paper. So actually I will stamp it on the white, but then it will make a bit more sense. So just going to put some here. So this is going to be on the inside of our card. Let's put a little piece here. And then a taller one here to the left. So I don't know if you can see, but it's quite patchy where the ink is, whereas the actual stamp is effectively solid. And how I created that was I added some drops of ink, re-inker, refill, to my ink pad. And normally what I would do is use a spatula or a bone folder or a block to spread it in. What I did this time was I just literally dropped some drops, but I didn't bother to move them around. And what that does is it creates temporarily, and it won't last forever because the ink itself will saturate, but you get this really nice effect here. So if you've got the re-inker, it's a great way to do that effect without having to do anything else, where you've got a stamp that hasn't got the detail. Okay, so I'm going to do the same here at the top. Just don't want to get on that bit there. Thank you, Carol. Just a really nice effect. And it just gives you, I've got a hair on there. No, I think I'm alright. No, it's good. Just gives you a really nice effect. So I'm going to do the same here. So this is going to be at the top of my card, above the gate. And obviously you could use different leaves and things, use whatever you've got really. Okay, so this is the top, this is going to be the bottom and the inside of my card, and when that's dry I will also add some balmy blue with a blending brush to make it look like the sky. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is put my two gate posts onto my card. So I'm going to put one here and one here. Now it's entirely up to you whether you have them, you can have them right on the end. I like to have mine a little way in just for a little bit of interest, and what you want to do is line it up at the bottom, and because we cut them out at the same time and we trim the tops at the same time, they should be even. So you can measure the distance in if you wish. I'm just going to do it by eye, and it's about half a centimetre, like so. And then what we're going to do is attach the slats going this way. Now there's so many variations of this. You can put these pieces behind, you can put a piece across like that behind to make it look like a gate. This, you know, you can just have some fun with this. I'm just doing a simple gate card. So what I'm going to do, start with, is just put some glue on the backs of these two pieces, and find the glue, and I'm just going to put them, the glue on the top. I don't want it to come too far down. So I've got a little bit there. So all I'm going to do is position this roughly where I want it. Get it nice and lined up with the bottom of my card, like so. Just holding that for a second so it sticks. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. As I said, I'm just doing it by eye, but if you prefer you could measure that. As I say, looking at it, it's about half a centimetre in, like so. And these are 1.5 centimetres wide. Okay, so those are my two pieces, and then I'm going to put my 4 pieces going up here, and on one of them I'm going to stamp my sentiment because if I attach it and then put my sentiment on, you run the risk of going over this edge. So I'm just going to put, let me see, just a thank you, I think, on the right hand side. Thank you. And a block. And I've got assorted colours for my pansies. I can't quite decide. I'm going to go Blackberry Bliss. And if you do it now as well, if you make a mistake, you've got the opportunity of just cutting another strip or spreading the other strips out if you prefer. So here's my thank you going up on the right hand side, like so. Let's cover this up. Okay, so I'm going to open this like so I can see what I'm doing. Let's bring this over here to a clearer piece. I'm hoping you can see that. Can you see right to the bottom? So I think what I'm going to do is have one just up from the bottom, and what I like to do, again, I'm not a big fan of measuring. I find people stress about it too much if you say it's got to be so many millimeters in between. So what I'm going to do is just eyeball it, and what I like to do is do the bottom one and the top one, and then you can see where the middle two are going to fit. Okay, so, and again, you can put this right at the bottom, but most fences typically, you know, don't go right to the very bottom. So I'm just going to take one at a time and add a bit of glue onto here and here. So here and here. And actually what I want to do is close it so that I can make sure they are in line with the card. That's the word. So I've got a plain one on the bottom. It's going there and there. And this will stand quite happily. There we go. I think I'm going to have my sentiment next, or shall I have it? No, I'm going to have it there. And again, oh no, I was going to do the top one. Yes, Jenny, do what you say you're going to do. Okay. So just using the edges of the card to line up. As I said, you could do this in crumb cake, or you could do the card in white and cut some strips of crumb cake so that your fence is made out of crumb cake card or anything that you like. It could be pecan pie. You could also put that through an embossing folder and have the wood grain going one way and the wood grain going the other way. Okay, so let's put our thank you on there next. I'm just doing a narrow line so that it doesn't go all over the place. And I'm just going to put that down very lightly. Just move it a little bit. As I say, if you're the sort of person that needs to measure it, then obviously please do. And there's so many different variation of fence cards and gate cards, so this is no means the only way to do it. This is my simplified version. And you can do exactly the same thing this way round, okay, even with the gate that way, or cut the other way, it would work exactly the same. Okay, so if anybody's joined us since the start, a warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so I've got my sentiment, I've got my foliage behind my fence, and I've got some foliage tucked in here. What I'm now going to do is just put a little bit of foliage on here as well. And so what I want to do is open this up and just stamp some foliage here and here. It's not going to be in line with the one behind, because I don't want the one behind broken up. Whereas if I stamped it through, you'd get the little patches here, which obviously wouldn't really make any sense. So I'm going to use the same one. This is from Botanical Layers. And I'm going to put one piece here, like that, and then just another little one here. There we go. Okay. Now all that needs to be done is to add our pansies. Oh, and do our sky. Let's do our sky first, and the pansies can come last. So a couple of things to note. One is when you're stamping your sentiment or writing your sentiment inside, obviously you're going to see through the gaps here. You can put a piece of card behind it, but it sort of negates the whole plan of having it open like that. So what you can do is write your message and your sentiment on the reverse, or make sure that you write between the gaps here. Entirely up to you. Okay, let's do a little bit of blending. Let's grab, I've got balmy blue here, that will do nicely. And I just want it to look like the sky. And I'm happy with this fence post being on top of here, because I want the effect of it being behind the fence. Does that make sense? But obviously you could also stamp onto the fence itself at the top. So I'm just going to use a piece of paper on here, mainly so I don't put my dirty mitts on the rest of the card, but also so I can hold it down and I don't put too much sky, maybe where I don't want it. So just a light amount of colour coming through. Not sure how much of this you can see. And so maybe what I should have done is do that before the fence, because I could have had it sort of behind that fence post, but I'm not particularly worried about it. And if you wanted to, you could use a stencil or torn paper to get a cloud effect. Okay, so there we go, that's coming up together nicely. How are we doing for time? Oh, not bad at all. Okay, so I hope you can see that. There's the card, here's my fence or my gate, and obviously you could have them going that way as well. or alternatively I should say. Okay, and then all that remains is for me to add my fun little pansies onto here. So I can have some of the smaller ones up at the top, and I have just got a series of different colours. Don't know if I want one up there or not. Maybe I'm just going to have them here. And I've got some leaves as well that I can tuck in like that. So the idea is that you're walking past and you've got the little pansies on or by the gate, by the fence. So I don't think I'm going to use those orangey ones. I have got plenty of leaves and I've got 2 of these spare, so let's just put these together. What I'm going to do is open this up so that I don't put glue on the back of the flowers that goes right the way through to the back of the card. So just to show you, this will stand really nicely like so. Okay, right, let's just put some pansies down then. So what I'm going to do, and you could definitely layer these up, just be careful not to add too much in terms of dimensionals. You don't want it too overloaded. So and these have all got white backs, so when you open this up you won't see anything on the back, you'll just see the white of the pansies. Okay. Just positioning these a little bit. Definitely go that way around, don't they? So yeah, that will work. So I'm just putting the glue on the white panel. You don't have to go mad. The glue is pretty strong. Like that. And then, let's see. I was never very good at flower arranging. I like that one up there. Got this one, which is a different variation. Did I stuck that one down? No. There we go. Yeah. I think that works like that. What do you think? I don't want it overkill. I can put some of these leaves tucked in, can't I? So just wondering if that needs to be a bigger one. That's all. It feels like it should. But what I'm going to do is just trim a little bit of this off so it goes further in, like so. There we go. And then this one I might pop up on dimensionals. So it's an effective card, and it probably takes longer to stamp the pansies and cut them out than it does do the rest of the card. So literally 1.5 centimetres, cut 6 pieces off, 2 that way, 4 the other way. Oh yes, I need to be a bit careful. I want to put my dimensional on here because I don't want it sticking out. Let me see. Yeah, looks better. Go. So put the dimensional on there. So I'm probably a bit late to the party with this because I think these, I don't think it's new, but they have had a resurgence recently, so I will apologise if you've already done one of these. So this one, I'm going to put a bit of glue, tuck it there. Bit of an angle. Okay. A few more leaves just to break it up, I think. Thank you, Jeanette. Have a great weekend yourself, my darling. I think the weather's definitely looks like it's going to be good. Just making sure there's no glue on the back. Okay, oh, I've got the spare one here. Yeah, let's put it on. How we do? What do you think? It certainly is a large quantity of pansies, that's for sure. Don't want to cover that up too much. I think that's probably it, actually. Maybe I'll put that one on to connect them together. And that's it. So you could definitely experiment with this fence or gate going one way or the other, no doubt about that. And although I've used pansies, obviously it can be absolutely anything. So there's that. That's our inside, and the back is quite tidy because it's all white, and that was the effect of using the refill on the ink pad. And that's it. So quite a busy card, but I think it's quite just a bit of fun. Gotta love pansies, haven't you? Okay, so thank you. Oh, there's another one. Thank you so much for joining me. I might have to do another one just to put all those pansies on. It looks a little bit busy now, doesn't it? Never mind. So thank you so much for joining me. As I say, this is our stamp set of the week. It's called Pansy Patch. It's £24 and you can find that in our annual catalogue. And if you like the dies, you can buy those in addition for £30 and just have some great fun. I think pansies are timeless as well, and they suit all sorts of occasions. You could use them for wedding, you could use them for anniversary, birthday, get well, all sorts of different ones. So I hope that's been useful to you. Just suddenly realised my camera must be at a bit of an angle because those are straight in front of me and they're definitely not straight for you. So I do apologise. I must have knocked it at some point. So thank you for joining me. Do take care. And as I say, if you purchase the stamp set of the week from me before this Sunday, I will send you all the components for the cards as are made live. And I look forward to crafting with you again soon. We have coffee and card tomorrow and a new stamp set of the week. And that will be a new one from the catalogue. Haven't decided what yet. That's my next job straight after my evening meal. So thank you so much. Do take care everyone. I appreciate you joining me, and I will straighten my camera up. That's amazing, isn't it? Yes, it's not that way, it's that way. There we go. Slightly better. Still slightly wobbly, but there you go. Thank you so much everyone. Do take care. I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. If I don't see you or speak to you, have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye for now.